This is the summary of the podcast. Lex Fridman talking with James Holland, World War II, Hitler, Churchill, Stalin, and biggest battles. Lex Fridman is a podcast host and AI researcher. James Holland is a historian specializing in World War II. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Episode Highlight and Introduction. The video highlights the D-Day invasion, noting 6,939 vessels, 1,213 warships, 4,127 assault craft, and 155,000 men landed in 24 hours. The conversation features historian James Holland, who specializes in World War II and has written extensively on the Western Front. The podcast is hosted by Lex Fridman, with sponsors mentioned for support. Chapter 2, World War II. World War II resulted in over 60 million deaths from more than 60 countries, with entire cities destroyed and millions displaced. The war was global, fought in deserts, the Arctic, across oceans, in the air, jungles, hills, beaches, the Russian steppe, and Ukraine. The human drama of the war is emphasized, with personal accounts highlighting the emotional impact of war on individuals. Chapter 3, Lebensraum and Hitler Ideology. The Hunger Plan was central to Nazi ideology, driven by the belief in a global Jewish Bolshevik plot and the need for German expansion. Hitler's worldview was black and white, seeing the world as an existential battle between us and them. The Nazi ideology aimed to conquer and colonize Eastern Europe, particularly Ukraine, to create a German-dominated empire. Chapter 4, Operation Barbarossa. Operation Barbarossa involved 3 German army groups attacking the Soviet Union in June 1941, with Army Group Center aiming for Moscow. The operation faced logistical challenges, including the inefficiency of the German mechanized forces and the vast size of the front. The initial success of the invasion was hampered by mechanical failures, lack of supplies, and the Red Army's scorched earth tactics. Chapter 5, Hitler versus Europe. Hitler was not a military genius, and his plans for invading France and the Low Countries were not his own, but developed by others. The French military was top-heavy and ineffective, with outdated commanders and poor communication systems. France's political divisions and fear of war after World War I made them reluctant to confront Germany effectively. Chapter 6, Joseph Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels, a disabled journalist, became Hitler's propaganda chief and played a key role in shaping public perception of the Nazi regime. Goebbels used radio and other media to spread the Nazi message, emphasizing the threat of Jews and Bolsheviks. His propaganda helped unify the German people under Hitler's vision of a master race and a 1,000-year Reich. Chapter 7, Hitler before World War II. Hitler's rise to power was facilitated by the Treaty of Versailles, economic depression, and the failure of democratic institutions in Germany. He violated the Treaty of Versailles secretly, building up the military and rearming Germany without international resistance. Hitler's aggressive actions, such as remilitarizing the Rhineland, were met with little opposition due to the reluctance of Britain and France to act. Chapter 8, Hitler versus Chamberlain. Chamberlain's policy of appeasement led to the Munich Agreement, where Germany was allowed to annex parts of Czechoslovakia. Chamberlain believed he could avoid war by negotiating with Hitler, but this failed as Germany continued its expansionist policies. The decision to go to war with Germany came after Hitler invaded Poland, leading to Britain and France declaring war on Germany. Chapter 9, Invasion of Poland. The invasion of Poland in September 1939 was swift, with Germany and the Soviet Union dividing the country under the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. The Polish military was unprepared and lacked coordination, leading to a quick defeat. The invasion marked the beginning of World War II and demonstrated the effectiveness of the Blitzkrieg strategy. Chapter 10, Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was a non-aggression agreement between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, allowing them to divide Eastern Europe. The pact was a result of failed negotiations with Britain and France, as the Soviets sought to avoid war with Germany. The agreement enabled Germany to invade Poland without fear of Soviet intervention. Chapter 11, Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was a prominent British politician who became Prime Minister in May 1940 after Chamberlain's resignation. Churchill's leadership during the Battle of Britain and his speeches inspired the British people during the war. Despite his reputation as a strong leader, Churchill had a controversial past, including the Gallipoli campaign and his stance on the monarchy. Chapter 12, Most Powerful Military in World War II. The most powerful militaries in 1939 included Britain, the United States, Japan, and Italy, though their readiness varied significantly. Britain's Royal Navy was the largest in the world, while the Luftwaffe was the most advanced air force at the start of the war. The German military was initially successful due to superior tactics, but their logistics and production capabilities were insufficient for a prolonged conflict. Chapter 13, Tanks. The Sherman tank, though less powerful than the Tiger, was more reliable and easier to maintain, leading to its widespread use. The Tiger tank, while heavily armored and armed, was complex and difficult to produce in large numbers. The Sherman's simplicity and mass production gave the Allies a strategic advantage over the Germans. Chapter 14. Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad was a turning point in the Eastern Front, with the German Sixth Army being encircled and eventually surrendered. The battle highlighted the importance of logistics and the limitations of the German war machine. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad marked the beginning of the end for Germany's Eastern campaign. Chapter 15. Concentration camps. The Holocaust was carried out through systematic executions, gas chambers, and forced labor in concentration camps. The Nazis used a combination of bullets and gas to kill millions of Jews and other persecuted groups. The process of dehumanization and the bureaucratic organization of the camps made the genocide possible. Chapter 16. Battle of Normandy. The D-Day landings on June 6, 1944, involved 155,000 Allied troops landing in 24 hours. Supported by 12,000 aircraft and 6,939 vessels. The operation required meticulous planning, including minesweeping and air superiority, which were achieved through coordinated efforts. The success of D-Day marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control. Chapter 17. Lessons from WW2. The war showed the dangers of allowing authoritarian leaders to gain unchecked power and make destructive decisions. The fragility of peace and freedom was evident, with the potential for rapid descent into chaos and violence. The capacity for human innovation and resilience offers hope for the future despite the horrors of war. End up.